Magbabalik po tayo sa ating programa Republika. Kausap pa rin natin si Father Melvin P. Castro, who traveled all the way from Tarlac. I want to acknowledge that, and that's how much I appreciate his coming. No? So Father, yun, hindi nga siya pwede magkaanak. Worst part, they have no sex life, so to speak. Or the wife, they're both, up here, down there, they're not meeting. Is an unhappy sex life also a basis, no? Yes or no? Or one of the citations?
Right. For example, in the church po, part po kasi nung when you marry a person, ando doon po yung part, yung what we call as the conjugal union.
Okay.
Which means the sexual intimacy between a married man and a married wife, ando doon po talaga yon. So, talagang I'll be, kahit po, hindi naman tayo siguro masensor. When the Lord created Adam and Eve, hindi naman po noong after original sin, saka nagkaroon sila ng sexual life. No?
Okay.
We can safely say that even before original sin, ando doon na yung intimacy nila.
Nilang dalawa.
Right. Because sex is not sinful so long as it is between a married husband and a married wife.
I'll interject quickly, Father. Some people are saying the first sin was not really eating of the apple, but actually because they copulated.
No, of course not.
You've heard that? You've heard that? Yes. Oh. And then they woke up to this reality. That's why they realized they were naked.
Actually po, kung magiging very chronological tayo, in Genesis chapter 2, ang sabi doon when from the side of Adam, Eve was taken and created, ang sabi doon was, the Lord presented Eve to Adam and he was very happy because finally he said, a flesh from my flesh, bone from my bones. And then, ang ganda nung sinabi po ng Bible doon, from that time on, a man would leave his father and mother and cling to his wife. And they will no longer be two, but one flesh.
Okay.
One flesh.
Okay.
Ang usual interpretation po ng biblical scholars and the church is that one flesh means ando doon ng sexual intimacy.
Okay.
And that was before original sin. Chapter 3 po yung original sin.
At least malinaw po yan. Alam ng tao yan. Ano?
And then, believe it or not po, kaya po, ando doon yung pleasure component ng sexual intimacy.
Nilagay talaga ng Diyos yun for procreation. Yes.
Right, no?
Okay.
So, ando doon nga po yung sinasabi ng church na the procreative aspect and the unitive aspect. Unitive yung sexual intimacy ng husband and wife. Palaging magkadugtong yun.
Okay.
Yun nga po ang naging issue natin regarding contraceptives. Pinuputol mo yung unitive aspect and the procreative aspect. Kailangan
the naturalness of creation.
Right.
Of procreation. Yes. Ito, tanong ko sa iyo, Father, no? In the Old Testament, parang go and populate the world, di ba?
Go and multiply.
Go and multiply, rather. Okay, go and multiply. Iba-ibang asawa yun? Pwede ba yun? No? Hindi. O isa lang dapat?
I'll be totally frank with you and our viewers. In the Old Testament po,
you could have several.
They were polygamous.
Yun na nga yun.
They were polygamous because they were also polytheist. Ang pinagsisimulan po is they believe in so many gods. They also married so many wives. Medyo po one-sided.
Pero hindi ho ba sabi...
One-sided po, husband lang ang pwedeng maraming wives.
Okay.
Ang wives hindi pwede.
Ganon ho ba? Ganon.
Right.
Pero hindi ho ba biblical na parang they were told to go and multiply? But was this not the order of the Almighty?
Right po. Pero po remember
so they were allowed to be polytheistic?
Polygamous.
Polygamous? They were allowed to be polygamous, ha?
That is why po, they were being purified as a nation.
I see.
So from polytheism, they believe in so many gods. Kaya po, Israel was chosen.
Okay.
And they were formed by God na maniwala lang sa isang Diyos. Then eventually po, to also have that exclusive relationship between one husband and one wife.
Unfortunately, sa panahon ho ngayon, dati, di ba, go and multiply. Ang nangyayari po sa ngayon, multiply and then go. Iniiwan yung mga responsibilidad.
Pero po, believe it or not po, in terms of demographics, baliktad na po eh. Ang tawag nga po natin dyan yung inverted pyramid.
Okay.
Marami na ang senior, kokonti ng pinapanganak. Ang classical example po will be in Asia, Japan, mas marami na po ang namamatay sa pinapanganak. That's why they had to import labor. Also Singapore. In Europe po, it's very obvious na po. No? Kaya even in the religious houses and congregations, they have to import Filipinos and Filipinas religious. Kasi po, wala na. They're not
It's an old generation. It's an old generation.
They're not reproducing. Nawala na yung hanggang go forth na lang, wala na multiply.
Isa po sa mga problema yate sa church, and then we will probably go to the legal side, is napakatagal po ng proseso.
You know po, there's a Spanish saying, pero ito anecdote lang. La cosa en el palacio va muy despacio. The things in the palace, referring
moves
to
very slow.
Very slowly.
Okay.
Kasi po, the church is not in a hurry na gawin lahat ito. Kasi, ang...
naniniguro sila.
Right. Ang the onus, no, yung the burden ay doon sa para patunayang null and void siya in the beginning. Ang presumption palagi ng church, valid yung pagkaasawa na yan. So it will take time. Pero po under the current pontificate, Pope Francis, he already declared it should be free.
Wala nang bayad.
In the entire world.
Wala nang bayad.
Wala na pong bayad.
Okay. We missed out on one point. Yung mga lesbians or homosexuals po, and you don't declare that, what happens? That's a valid for separation or for annulment sa church.
Opo.
As long as you don't declare it.
To your spouse.
To your spouse, yes.
You hid it.
Oo.
Then when you're already together,
lumabas yan.
Then it will be obviously a ground for annulment.
Okay. How about if the woman accepts it or the man accepts na yung partner niya is sometimes lesbian? May mga ganon.
Right. Parang kung if not mistaken, sa nacho, no, yung it is healed.
Okay.
The moment na tinanggap mo pa rin, then ina-assume ng law na tinanggap mo na yung sitwasyon.
So they cannot claim that later on?
No more.
Okay.
Later on. Pero kung in the midst of the problem, sinight yun, then they can always cite it.
Okay. Mukhang sa panahon ho ngayon yata, I don't know if my figures are correct, there are about 4, I don't know if the figures increase, 4 requests for annulment per day in the church. I don't know if my figures are correct, but that's what I'm hearing. Tumaas na yata, 4 or 5. Dati 3, ngayon 4 to 5 na.
I'm not really sure of the figure, but this is a sadder reality po is, wala na po masyadong nagpapakasal.
Hindi na lang sila nagpapakasal.
Mas marami po civil, yung mga kasalan ng civil government, kasi alam nilang madali ang legal separation, madali ang annulment sa
Pero mahal ho ang annulment sa civil, ha?
I'm not really sure.
Those are what the Congress women in Congress are saying na mahal magpa-annul, and then sa church ho yata sa kasal may bayad din yung simbahan kasi medyo mahal. Paano ho yan? Kasi kung yung annulment libre,
kaya ayaw magpakasal.
Kaya ayaw kasi mahal. So,
actually po, madalis na po itong sabihin, talaga lang mahirap din pong how to put it across. No? The sacraments are free.
Okay.
But, unfortunately po, you have to pay for the electricity,
for the
flowers.
Church. Okay.
Kaya
kung wala hong flowers na lang?
Actually po ako ilang cases na po, not cases, instances, na nagso-solemnize po ako ng marriage. Totally walang involved na finances kasi po hindi sila nakatrahe de boda. We allow it po kasi it's up to the couple po how to, kung bongga ba ang gusto nila or as simple as they can.
Hindi ho pwedeng, I don't know whether you can consider a paupers, I don't know if that's the right word for it.
Meron po kaming kasalang simbahan.
Na
once a year na libre.
Simple lang.
Ito po nakakatuwang experience namin sa kasalang simbahan. Sacramental marriage na libre. May mga nagdo-donate po ng trahe de boda.
Okay.
Ang dami pa nagre-regalo sa kanila.
Okay.
So the church po is already doing many means para nga ma-attract silang magpakasal.
To get married, yes.
Ano po talaga, takot sila dahil alam nilang walang divorce sa church.
So maybe that's where the problem is. They're thinking that katulad sa church medyo mabagal nga, and then pati sa civil din magastos din because the rates grow from 150 to 200,000 pesos just to have a civil annulment. I don't know whether people know that. Baka mas mura pa sa simbahan magpakasal na lang kaysa sa civil because it's very expensive yung annulment, no?
Annulment process.
Yung annulment process, and it takes quite a while.
I think po ganun din naman eventually pag nagkaroon ng divorce. Actually po, ang social cost ng divorce will be tremendous. Financial or emotional.
That's the reason why the church is against divorce right now, no?
Ang mahirap po kasi sa debate ng divorce, wala yung primary stakeholders.
Children, yung mga bata.
Pag naman po naghihiring sa Kongreso, hindi naman pinatawag yung mga bata.
Yes.
It's always the couples, if at all.
Yes.
Statistics ang pinag-uusapan, pero real life, ang una pong tatamaan yung children.
Yung mga bata.
Right.
Okay.
By the way po, no, let me also interject.
Yes, yes.
Kahit po magdeklara ng annulment ang simbahan, pero may anak sila, merong moral obligation that these children have to be supported.
Okay.
Hindi po pwedeng para, ay, annulled na kami, bahala
ka na.
O paano yung bata?
Okay.
So, moral obligation of both the spouses to support the child or children.
That's assuming that they get annulled amicably. Kasi minsan merong mga iba dyan, ginagawang shuttle yung mga bata, negotiable instruments yung mga bata, may mga ganun, ano?
Meron din pong unfortunate cases na connivance, no? Para lang mapadali ang sa civil. Sorry po I'm just being honest.
Bawal sa civil. Sa church po malalaman ninyo kung may connivance?
Ay, madali po eh.
Malalaman yun?
Mas madali pong ma-check ang connivance sa church, I mean.
Oo.
Ang hirap po kasi sa civil na what I saw, at least one instance lang naman. Pinagdideklara na lang na psychological incapacity para mabilis na lang.
Yung proseso.
Sa church mo kaya matagal eh.
Mas matagal.
Talagang you have to be interviewed separately.
Okay.
So, matagal-tagal po talaga.
Okay, merong witnesses sa marriage tribunal yan?
Of course.
Okay, and then, kailangan may defender of the faith?
Defender of the band.
Okay, defender of the band. And then, ano yan? Who heads it? Hindi judge, parang chairman?
Ang ultimate judge po ng any matrimonial tribunal in the church is the bishop.
Okay. How crucial is it that one of them is absent? For example, if yung defender ng bonds wala dun sa hearing, is that a legitimate process or not?
Ang matrimonial tribunal po kasi sa church does not operate na parang postpone pag wala yung... Diretso po yung hearing eh, kahit wala yung isang party. Kasi po...
Tuloy-tuloy pa rin.
Tuloy-tuloy. Kasi po, ipapatawag naman eventually yung isa. They don't have to be there together.
Yung defender ng bonds, doesn't have to be there present?
Yung pong defender of the bond is the canon lawyer.
Dapat nandun siya?
Nandun siya pala.
Eh kung wala siya doon, let's say, let's just, technically speaking, wala siya doon, what happens to the process?
Sa case naman po ng church kasi, predated lahat, lahat na-commit na yung dates beforehand. Okay. Unlike sa civil na pwede mong, nagkasakit sa ganyan, postpone.
But does it happen that it is nag-absent ang defender of the bonds?
It's a rarity po sa church.
What happens if one of them is absent? Or let's say, absent yung valid pa rin yung proseso?
Oh, of course, of course.
Okay, we're going to pause for a few reminders. We'll go into mixed marriages now, and then hopefully we can touch on how to deliver your house, from whatever things that you see walking around when we return.